Welcome to Knafs at Night, I'm Ben.
I'm Austin.
And today we're going to be talking about why there's a land or two in this Weehaw Bit Kit.
We're going to be taking a look at this vintage 1969 newspaper from the moon landing.
Amazing. And lastly, we're going to answer a customer question. Am I a Chinese sleeper agent? The answer is no, but that's what you'd expect me to say. Let's go!
Let's go.
So there I was. I got an email from a man named Ryan, and Ryan had this question. He had some statements and then he had a question.
Sure.
So his statement was, found Knafs a few years ago in Michigan. Thank you, Ryan. However, I don't own anything Knafs yet. My issue, my wife and I agreed years ago to do everything possible to stop knowingly purchasing items made in China when we have an alternative to choose from due to known Chinese labor issues. So he's talking about his shopping preferences. Mm-hmm. Totally cool. I know y'all work closely with your shops over there, but don't know how familiar you may be with their corporate business practices, ethics, or employee treatment. Can you speak to my concerns?
It's a great question.
Absolutely. He says, I hate lumping all China manufactured goods in the same boat, but that seems to be the safest unless the stateside designer or vendor can attest to the practices, etc. of their Chinese partners. All indications are that you're not a secret Chinese sympathizer sleeper agent, so I trust your judgment.
Interesting.
I know.
Whoa.
So, Ryan, thank you so much. I think this is such an important question. So, diplomatically worded.
Yeah.
And the answer to the question of am I a sleeper agent is no. If I were a sleeper agent, I would do something much more interesting than knives.
That's what you want us to think.
That's true. Funny part about this, literally yesterday as we were pre-proing this episode, front page of the New York Times, Chinese sleeper agent arrested in Manhattan, in New York.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
so...
Who is this guy? Who's Ryan? What is Ryan up to? Oh my gosh.
So the interesting thing about this New York Times article is, okay, if you're a Chinese sleeper agent, you own multiple homes, you drive Ferraris,
Right.
you're collecting this government money.
Right.
I'm still driving a 2010 Toyota Tacoma.
Sure.
117,000 miles.
But what's your other car?
It's a minivan.
Yeah, okay.
It's a Sienna.
Okay.
So those two things indicate that I'm probably not. But
Sure.
what I do want to talk about is his conversation about these shops. So I actually went to China in April of this year. And the reason I went was for this exact reason. Who am I working with? Who am I actually working with? What does their shop look like? What is the treatment of the workers? All of that. Because I have the same concerns, right? It's so easy to send an email or WeChat and be like, hey, we're going to make a knife. For instance, you could make this knife tomorrow. You could literally buy one. You could send it to China, have them knock it off. They would make it for you.
Yeah.
That is not the type of people that I work with.
Yeah.
I work with established brands where I know their quality. I have basically their reputation already in front of them. And I say, let's work with them. So I went over there. And I went to QSP, Kaiser, We and Civivi, and then a factory that makes some of our accessories for us. And I looked at all the factories.
What did you notice?
Okay, so here's the first thing I noticed. Not all factories are created equal. Same as the United States. So if you were to go to a factory, and I've been to many a factory in the US.
Yeah.
I have been to some factories in the South. I have been to some factories in California and Idaho. Different places. There are different standards in different factories, folks. And there are definitely different standards of cleanliness, how often they sweep, how often they clean. And there are other factories that I would eat off the floor.
Right.
Straight up, give me a fork. I will. But at the same time, there's chips. There's not physical ruffles.
Yeah, okay. Well, you got me excited.
Chips meaning chips evacuated from machines. CNC chips and things like that. I wouldn't eat off the floor of anybody's shop. Mm-hmm. But there are floors that are very clean compared to others.
Right.
So to answer Ryan's question, not a sleeper agent. Secondarily, I think it's good that you're concerned. I've done a ton of reading on all sorts of things in China, communism, all the different things. And the thing that I've realized is there are governments and there are people. Mm-hmm. I'm curious how many of you, if you're in the United States or wherever you are satisfied with your government? Let me know in the comments. Yeah. Are you satisfied? Give me a rating. Are you 100% satisfied with your government? 30, 40%? Who's in office? Are you satisfied? Not a political conversation so much as satisfaction level. Now, if somebody were to say, you are the U.S. government, I'd be like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not the U.S. government.
I'm a citizen.
I'm a citizen.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important distinction when we talk about China and when we talk about citizens. Now, there's a conversation, this is part of what I don't know entirely. There's a conversation going on about, well, China owns all the companies. Okay. Now, that's not true. There are state-owned enterprises in China. But as far as I know, the companies that I work with are owned by their owners. So Joe at We Knives owns the company.
Okay.
How the subsidies work and things like that. Surely there are government subsidies. Same as the United States.
Everywhere.
Like literally you can go out and get a government grant to start a business if you're in the right sector. So I guess to answer Ryan's question, I went there. I was stoked with the people I met. I've worked with these people for more than a decade. When I had kids, when I had babies, I still have kids, for the record.
Most of them.
Most of them, depending on who cleaned their room today. But when I had kids, they sent me baby gifts and things like that. So I've always been very stoked about the people I work with. Now, is that the Chinese government? No. And there are things like read the news. There are things that you could be not stoked about with the Chinese government. But same with any government. It is not black and white everywhere.
Do you think you say everywhere? Does that apply everywhere? Like, do you think you could go to? Let's just pretend like there's some terrible people on Antarctica. Could you go to Antarctica and find some good people out there? Terrible government, I should say.
Yeah, I don't think there's a government in Antarctica. I think
I
it's
know.
a split
I didn't
nation.
want to call. I didn't want to call out a specific government that already exists.
No, but I think this is my thesis: is there are good people everywhere. I look at some of the wars that are happening across the world right now. I'm like, if you were to take all the Russians and say all the Russians are terrible, that is not true.
Yeah.
Do the same thing with any nation. There are going to be good people in every nation you go to.
It's almost like almost a scary point to make. You know, it's like it feels like you're standing up for someone that the rest of your community hates or something like that,
Sure.
right? But I agree with your sentiment. It is hard for me to say that out loud, but I agree. Like, good people are everywhere. The place that you live does not make you a good person or a bad person. The people who rule over the country that you're in does not make you a good person or a bad person. It is up to you as an individual to make those choices, define that path, sort of thing.
And I think it's important to note, too, within a country, like let's say you're reading the news from that country, you're not going to hear about Sally giving Jeremy a grape for lunch.
Yeah.
You know, like the kind things that happen.
Yeah.
You're going to hear government A fired a missile at government B. And that is what you're going to hear.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of an unfortunate feature of the news cycle. But there are good people everywhere. I work with very good people in China. I work with good people in Taiwan, Italy, talking to some people in El Salvador.
Nice.
Is that a hint or clue? I don't know.
I don't know anything about El Salvador.
There are good people all over the world, and I have been very pleased with the people that I work with. I will continue working with them. So that's kind of how I see the world.
Cool. Well said.
Yeah. Wow, that was a long explanation. It's worth noting. Let me end this with another comment from a guy, Scotch and Things. He says, I know you're smart enough to know that they showed you what you wanted to see to make you feel comfortable so you could spread the word. This is talking when I went to China. Here's the deal. I did see things that I wasn't entirely comfortable with. Here's a photo of me sitting in a chair in one of these factories, and you can see a pile of cigarette butts and nastiness. In China, they sit on these chairs, and this is how they work. Culturally, this is their way of working, is on these kind of squatty chairs. Is that the way I work? No. Is that how I would keep my factory? No. Have I seen factories like this that look like this in the United States? Also, yes. So, I don't know. I don't feel like they showed me everything I wanted to see.
Yeah.
But I think I saw a pretty good dose of reality over there.
Yeah, and you made this point earlier off camera, but we all kind of put our best foot forward anyway, right? Like, that's human nature, right? We're always trying to present as best as we can, maybe not lie, but show our best face, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a fair point.
And every factory I've been to in the U.S., when I show up, they're all wearing the same shirt.
Yeah.
They have swept.
Yeah.
They, clearly...
Prep has been done.
They have cleaned the living room before I
Yes.
showed up with a camera.
Yes.
Humans are exactly the same. That's what I saw in China. That's what I've seen in California, right? Like, that's how humans are, is we want to put our best foot forward.
Yep.
So that is a fun conversation. I'm sure it won't be the last time we talk about it. That was a long explanation. I love it. Let's go to other news.
Let's do it. But before we get there, let's talk about the newsletter really quick.
I love it.
Yes, so if you guys don't know, which I say that every time, you should know by now, but we give away a knife a week over on our newsletter right now. So all you need to do is be signed up over there, whether you're an existing member already or someone new to signing up. Just head to our website, go to the link in the description below, wherever, sign up for our newsletter, and we'll give out a land or one every week.
I love it.
Go over there and win.
Who won last week?
Yes, Jesse C. of Michigan. Congrats to Jesse.
Congrats, Jesse. I
Heck
hope
yeah.
you enjoy it.
Enjoy that new knife and send us a picture if you're using it. We'd love to see
because the good people on the YouTubes would also like to see the winner's knives in action.
That's right.
So
cool.
Love it.
All right, and on to Knafs News. This week we have got the Lulu, but in black.
Yes.
Did you even know that we had a black Lulu?
I did, yeah.
People are saying that we have a black Lulu.
So here's the story on this one. Do you want story time?
I would love to hear it.
I didn't want a black Lulu.
Why not?
Well, I wanted a raw Magna Cut Lulu.
Okay.
So here's what happened. Some of the raw Magna Cut, because it's raw and it's not getting surface ground,
Right.
some of it had some pretty bad scratches in it. And so we worked with our manufacturer and we were like, let's paint it black.
This is called a solution, my friends.
Well, it's the old woodworking trick, right? Like, how well can you cover your mistakes? In this case, it was like, these cannot be raw Magna Cut.
Yeah.
Let's make them black. So these kind of came out after the original.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't take these to the Amazon or anything.
I think they came with the second run of Lulus. Yeah.
And so they have this lovely black, I think it's a DLC coating.
DLC, I'm almost
A
certain.
diamond-like coating.
Yep.
And it holds up great. I'm less of a black guy, more of a, I don't know, a raw Magna Cut style.
Sure.
So,
but I see it out there. Like I see it in the Moon Crew. I see it on
people love it.
Facebook all the time. It's a popular knife, and I think for a good reason.
people love it.
Yeah. So we teased this at the beginning, but you guys have, and you've maybe seen it out there, but this is the Weehaw and Knafs little, what do they call it? A precision pocket knife kit?
Yes.
Yes. And what are we looking at here, Ben?
Well, little backs. I always have a story for
Yeah.
everything, right? They landed it, I think, in our DMs or sent us an email.
Just like a cold email or something?
And they were like, "Hi, we're Weehaw, and we love what you're doing, and would you like to collaborate?" And I'm like, "Yes,
Yes, we love
I felt
Weehaw.
I felt like we'd won something amazing. I have a ton of respect for Weehaw. I only use Weehaw bits because I just feel like any other bits out there tend to strip, and Weehaw bits will strip too, but they don't strip often.
They last a lot longer.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
I found the same. I am such a, speaking of how excited I was to get this email in my inbox, I am such a Weehaw fanboy. Like, all my tools are Weehaw, all my, micro bits and stuff like that. They're all Weehaw. So to get this, it was, almost like a validation, It's
Yes.
like, oh, the big guys, they see us.
They
know
called
what
us.
we're doing.
I have been chosen. Farewell, my friends.
It's like the cheerleader he asked us to prom. We're
That's,
like,
yeah.
yes.
I've never talked to a cheerleader before. I don't know what to say.
I love it. So we did a lander too. We engraved it, filled it with a black ink, and then, which, by the way, this is a prototype one, so it might not be our best foot forward, but sometimes that's what's kicking around the office.
This was our tester. I'm gonna give some more backstory. We tried to remove that ink, and we did our best. So if you see a little bleeding around, it's because we wanted to remove it.
We were trying.
Yeah.
It doesn't come out. Also, all the bits. So our little bit driver typically comes with a T6, T8, and a flathead. Eventually, we're going to change that to a T10. Thanks for the feedback.
Yeah.
Typically, I don't have all these bits kicking around. So I was like, well, hey, what if we put all these bits in here? It's a 51-piece kit. It runs for the not cheap sucker price of $250, $249.
Correct.
It's available at weehawtools.com.
Yeah. And it's super limited, so head on over there and grab some. I think they're going to do another run eventually, but for right now, this is all they've got, so go check them out.
So, kind of fun.
Super fun,
Huge
super
shout out to
exciting.
the Weehaw guys for having us.
Love those guys.
I don't know. That's fun.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Lander emotes.
Oh, boy.
Let's do it.
Okay. I feel like everything's a story.
I know, you've got a
every
story.
time.
Start at the beginning on the, because I don't know anything about the Wii.
So here's what happened. This is a Wii Banter. This was the original. We made, I think, 300 sets of these scales. They're hard to find now. They're like a collector's piece, and I see them on eBay occasionally. But my friend Michael Reed over at Misheard Knife Reviews / Aurora Knife and Tool was like, hey, what if we did a Wii Mote? A Wii Banter remote for the Wii.
Clever.
And that's what we did. So that was the original.
Yeah.
And then we did that one. That was probably 3 years ago now.
Wow.
And then Michael came back and he's like, well, what about a lander remote? And I was like, who am I to say no?
Yeah, if it's got a pun in it, then Ben's all over it. So, yeah.
Alliterations and puns.
Yep.
Instant yes.
Yep.
So we did that one. And then we were like, well, what if we did a black one?
Yeah, so if you guys are real vintage or retro gamers, you guys probably know that the Wii did come in a black version and with black Wiimotes. So this is kind of a little nod to that.
Little homage.
Yep.
Oh, look at that.
I
1, 2,
know.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Homage.
9, 10 Jinx
Yeah.
candy bar Twix.
Right there. There you go.
Where's my
Yeah,
candy bar?
this is the black version. We still have some on the site. They are limited, so I think we had just over 100 units, something like that. So get them while you can. They'll
will
never come back.
yeah.
Yep, never come back. You may one day see one on a different knife, but it'll never be on the Lander one again. So
So
Grab them while you can.
snag them.
I think that's it for the news, and we're on to the Moon Crew moment.
Let's go.
Let's go. I think first this week we've probably got Tanner. Is it Tanner?
Yeah, we got Tanner. He couldn't decide between the moon scales and having the toothpick and tweezers, so he mixed and matched. He's got unlock composites on the back with that moon scale unlock composites on the front.
I love what he's. It's a little dark side of the Moony in a way.
Yeah,
You know,
I like
I'm
it.
kind of loving what
I
he's
like it.
doing there. Also, big brain idea and something I never thought of. Use one. So he's got a lander one. I'm sure you can see it on the screen. And the inserts for the unlock composites only come on one side of that knife, so you don't need like both sides of the scales. You only need one side for the toothpick and tweezer. So he had a big brain idea and said, I only need the one side. I'm going to do something else.
Lanyard game, 10 out of 10.
The Duff beer bead and the Moonlander, perfect.
Love it.
Perfect.
This is from Eric Bennett. Eric and I have been friends for a long time. He likes big knives, I like small knives, but he also likes blue knives. So he posted this in the Moon Crew just for me.
Yeah.
With the Squid PS4 RIP.
Now that you say it, I can see that he does like big knives. He's got a big banter, Lander 2,
In fact,
regular banter.
Eric is probably the biggest reason I designed the big banter. He's like, I love the banter, but I want it big.
Oh.
I was like, okay, Eric, for you, I will do it.
I mean, I don't know that Eric was expecting quite the shout out, but good on you, Eric.
No, he's a rock star.
Sweet.
Last from the Moon Crew comes from Jim Hewitt Jr. Holy smokes, Jim went shopping.
This one, like, knife straight into the heart in the best kind of way. Like, this is just like a shot straight to my heart. I don't know if he's gifting, if he's collecting, if he's what he's doing with these bad boys, but he dropped a lot of money on our website. It looks like he basically got
4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 knives at a
13
time.
knives. A baker's dozen.
A baker's we should
dozen.
give discounts for a baker's dozen.
Probably should. Yeah, it should be a hefty one, too.
That's amazing. Jim, thank you for the support. It's super cool to see what you snagged and what you picked up. That's a loot. We're on to Ship Shape Sharpening Shop. Today on the Ship Shape Sharpening Shop, I've got a Fall Neven G1 dagger that came in for sharpening. Kind of a nice little boy here. It didn't come with a sheath, but you've got an injection molded handle there. I can't think of a lot of things I'd use this one for. It's designed for one thing. Next on the list, same customer, came in with a Boker Jaeger Gold in 440C. This one's kind of cool because it has a little trick up its sleeve. You take it to the half stop and then push the lock, and you can swap the blade. Seems like, or it's sharpen it, I don't know. Maybe put a saw on there, whatever you want to do. That one comes from Germany. Beautiful micarta handle that's sculpted. I like that. You got that tree on there. Love that Boker stuff. That's the Ship Shape Sharpening Shop today. We're on to Edge of Intelligence, where we let AI tell us what to read, what to say.
That's right. I've heard through the grapevine that this is a long one.
Wait a minute. What are you chopping with today?
All right. I think it's a mini Crooked River. I don't think it's the full size. I could be wrong.
It's so big though.
I know, even the mini is a large knife. Yeah, go right ahead. But yeah, I've got a mini Crooked River. This has the worst blade centering that you've ever seen in a knife. I got it for free. I'm not saying anything about Benchmade. I love
really bad.
Benchmade. It doesn't hit the liner, but it is breathing on it.
And you have played with the pivot?
Oh, of course. You know me. But yeah, great little knife. Only good for the first inch of this envelope, though, because I used a Sendy to open the rest of it. So,
Sorry.
No,
distracted.
it was good. All right, here we go. The prompt. You are a knife expert, but find yourself sucked into a vortex of time and travel back to the Paleolithic period. What would the belt knife on your pants do for you? This is from Jonathan Burton from the Moon Crew.
First of all, before we get in, Paleolithic period.
I nailed
Did you
it.
cut it in half?
Yeah.
Yes, nailed
to.
it.
Had to.
Are you wearing a belt?
Yeah, like he must have taken the knife in the transporter,
Yeah, I like it.
with
I like
him.
it. I like it.
Okay, those are good right there. All right, here we go, folks. Page 2. I'm going to read the first page. You read the second page.
I'm on it.
Okay, page 1. Being stuck in the Paleolithic era with a modern belt knife would give me a significant advantage for survival. Here's how it would help. Number 1, hunting and butchering. It's a tool for hunting. The knife would allow me to create or enhance traps, spears, or other hunting tools. It's efficient butchering is point number 2. So compared to the rudimentary stone tools available in the Paleolithic era, my knife would make processing meat much quicker, allowing me to access the valuable nutrients hidden in the animal's bones and organs.
Wow. Oddly specific.
Very specific, but I can't say that's false.
Yeah.
That's definitely true. And then shelter building. Woodwork and construction is our first point here. Modern knife would make cutting branches, vines, and other material more efficient. This would help in constructing more sturdy and effective shelters.
Can I take issue with that for just half a second?
Take issue while you read that third of a page.
I think sometimes survival, like we put too much credit on the tool, and not enough credit on the tool wielder.
On the human.
On the human.
Very
like
interesting.
no, genuinely. Like,
Very interesting.
because I have watched my children, we did some fire making this summer,
Mm-hmm.
watched my children with a flint and steel. They have all the tools they need, none of the skills to use it.
Mm-hmm.
We're teaching them, right? But like, if you have the world's best belt knife
Yeah.
in the Paleolithic era and none of the shelter building skills and all of that, it doesn't matter.
It's a great point. You know, I don't think that I've ever come from it from that perspective of like they say it's the archer, not the arrow, right? The very
Yeah,
classic
that's a
thing.
good way to put it.
It's the archer, not the arrow, and that is absolutely true. But we're so enamored with pocket knives. We're like, oh, this pocket knife does so much for me. It has
this will.
It has that.
Yes.
Yeah.
The other three things here is tool creation, cutting and processing, general use, and fire making.
Yeah.
Talks about bow drill. It could help in fashioning a bow drill for fire making. Here's the deal. If you didn't get in the time capsule with bow drill making skills,
There you go.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah. What good help is it?
Yeah.
Can't help you. Did you bring your bow drill book? Because if you didn't, you're out of luck.
You're out of luck.
You're out of luck.
And what kind of wood should you be using? Like, there's so much that goes into actually using tools.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we forget that the tools in your pocket should get out and see the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
Write that on a poster and hang it up somewhere.
We should make a poster.
Someone should make a poster.
Take your tools on a magic carpet ride.
On a magic carpet ride.
Think about it.
There it is. All right, and with that, we are on to the mailbox.
Okay, this was a funky mailbox this week. We got to start.
A great one, though.
Literally same day, we got two amazing packages. We'll start with some watercolor paintings.
Very nice.
This is from a guy named Brooksy, and Brooksy like hooked us up with all sorts of paintings, handwritten
Oh.
note on the back,
Goodness.
the moon,
Very nice.
Mars.
So what did the note, like, we don't need to read the note, but
Dude,
what
it
was,
was-
why did he send this, is my question.
He's just stoked about what we're doing, about Knafs, about everything.
Cool.
He even like took my Amazon video and painted one of the video clips from the Amazon, watercolored it.
Dang.
That's me. You can
That
tell
is
it's me
cool.
by the hair
And the hat.
and the hat
Yeah.
and the blue shirt.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Super cool.
But this wasn't all.
What else did he give us?
Check that out. This came from Brooksy as well.
Brooksy.
Yes.
So, 1969, I think it's July 21st. July 21st, 1969 edition of the newspaper. I think it's from Tampa, Florida.
Yes.
That's the front. Very cool graphic here on the back with Kennedy and the, what is that, a Saturn V?
Yep.
Saturn V rocket there. But information was so different back then.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'd have a tweet about this and I'd know what's going on immediately.
Yes.
You know, like
you
there's
probably listen
no-
to the radio.
Yeah.
So this would be supplemental to your radio, where you're learning about Neil Armstrong, you're learning about the lunar lander and 24 space. Like, this is supplemental to that radio broadcast of hey, we have liftoff, because they're gonna be on their way for a couple days, because January 21st, July 24th. Correct me if I'm wrong, Internet, is when they walked on the moon, and so you would have had 3 days of like
Yeah. Transition period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of cool.
Wow. Very, very
Brooksy,
cool. Thank
you so much.
Yeah,
this
big
is
time.
like, what an amazing thing to open. By the way, while we're talking about space, Patrick Patterson, one of our admins on the moon crew, sent
Yeah.
me this shirt. Make Pluto great again. If
Yeah.
there's a political statement out there that we're making today, this is it, folks, and we feel strongly about this. This is
I
our
agree.
childhood.
I agree. What was the acronym you told me earlier? You had some acronym.
My very educated mother just sent me 9 pizzas.
Yeah.
9.
Did you guys out there know that? That is the order of planets, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Mercury, Venus, Earth. I don't remember the rest, but you
Mars.
get the idea.
Yeah.
My very educated mother. You had never heard that.
Never ever. And I know the PEMDAS, like, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or purple elephants marching down the street. Like, I've heard all of these things, but I have never heard the planet one, and I am a notoriously terrible planet.
Do you know the song for the quadratic equation?
What? I mean, please regale us with,
I can't
with
remember
the song
the
of your
rest. I
people.
don't think I have the whole. I don't think I have the whole thing memorized anymore. But a is equal to negative b plus or minus square root a squared over 4ac all over 2a.
Dang.
Correct me, Internet, if I got it wrong.
X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
Quadratic.
If I got it right,
Let's freaking
Thank you, Mr.
go.
Floyd.
You can have a not pair. Yeah.
Anyway, Patrick Patterson sent us this.
Thank
He
you,
also
Patrick.
sent us this set of chroma scales with Pluto on there.
Those are rad.
Yeah, I think he basically sent Randall a picture of Pluto and said, "Will you make me scales?"
Are they textured?
They're not textured,
Okay, so
they're
it's just a
flat.
color.
Yeah,
Cool.
But between those two things, if this is not a nerdy show, I don't know what is.
Yeah. We should just call this Pluto at night going forward. Like this is our kind of show right now.
I love it. And when we get stuff like this, it's a pure delight.
Oh yeah.
It's a joy.
Yeah, we spent a good bit of time going over that stuff. It was super fun. Before we move on, send us some stuff, guys.
Well, we love stuff.
Yeah, we'd love to get your mailbox items. We'd love to share it here on the show, call you out. We've got an address on the screen right here. You can send some stuff, address it to Knafs at night. And
we're kind of an open book. We had somebody send us a knife. We featured it on the show.
Yeah.
Like if you're a maker and you'd like us to feature your stuff.
Yeah.
We've even shipped stuff back before.
And we just did an old newspaper. It could be anything.
Could be anything. We love it.
Cool.
While we're here, folks, let's go somewhere else. Sorry, that was a terrible transition.
I love it.
This week we're going to go on a field trip. We have been going to different factories in China, and since we're talking about China today, we are going to go to the Wee and Savivi factory in Yangzheng, China. Let's go. This is the Wee Knife office building here in Yangzheng, China, Guangdong province. And it's just a beautiful spot. It's amazing to see what they've built here and see just how much they've been able to accomplish over the last 10 years. It's really dang cool. So I started working with Wee Knives in 2019. We launched the Banter in 2020, right as the pandemic was starting. And I've always wanted to get to this spot right here at the Wee Knives factory, and I'm stoked to be here. It's pretty dang cool to be here in Yangzheng, China, to see where the Banter knives, the Sendies, all of those are made. So Seth is over here getting a tutorial on how to assemble the baby Banter. I'm thinking if you come to the game needing a tutorial, you don't have any business playing the game. So I think I got him in this. Easy. And there you have it from the Wee factory in Yangzheng, China. I'm amazed. It's just a remarkable place. They are doing really, really cool things here. And as a designer of a few of their products, it is such an honor to be able to work on stuff with them. The passion that they're putting into this stuff is incredible. I just get a kick out of seeing my things on the line being made and created. It is really, really cool. I'm amazed to see these ideas that are in my head out on an assembly line where people are taking a lot of pride in the work and creating things with them. It's just really, really cool, and it's been a really cool opportunity to be in Yangzheng to see this happening. I see a lot of knives, I've held a lot of mine, but to see them being made, super cool. Thanks for coming along on this journey. We'll have a couple more days in Yangzheng, China. Let's go! So the Wee and Savivi factory, I can't tell you how cool that was to just like see my stuff being made.
Really
my weird ideas, like 5 a.m. ideas being made in bulk. It was cool.
That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, thousands of miles across the globe.
Yeah.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
Nice.
Same moon, man. Think about it. Philosophical.
Same moon. We're all just staring up at that same moon from the bottom of the barrel this week. This is the section where we have something interesting come across the desk and we talk about it. This is the Lunar Lander patch.
I love it.
Yeah, this is an OG patch in my opinion. Yeah. I don't know exactly when it came out, but it's been around as long as I can remember. And the interesting thing about this is they're almost gone. We are almost out of these bad boys, and we're probably not doing any more. So
I love it.
Grab them now.
Designed by Stephen Griffin.
There you go. Who's that?
He used to work at Worksharp, and so he did some design for us. And
cool.
He just like posted that on the internet, and I was like, Steven, can I buy that design from you? And he's like, here, it's yours. I bought it.
Did it come with knives? Like he
the
designed
legs
the knives
are knives.
already?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Kind of cool.
Nice.
I enjoy it. Last on the list today, Fresh Prints.
Yeah. Got some dragons over here.
I love it. Little Charizard action.
This one for you. Little Charizard.
Did you grow up collecting Pokemon cards, Austin?
You know, funny enough, I even like went down a TikTok rabbit hole last night of Pokemon stuff, but yes, the
Really?
answer is absolutely.
Amazing.
I grew up collecting Pokemon cards. I think like 5 years ago, I went to my mom's house and saw that my brother had basically gotten to all of them and ruined them all and stuff. Not that I cared about them.
Did you have a Charizard?
Definitely, yeah. It was
Those
like,
were like I knew nothing about it.
Yeah.
But these are cool.
in the original pack, this was the cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit like Beanie Babies. I don't know if everyone knows about Beanie Babies, but
Everyone should.
Kind of similar to that. Like I had this collection that not of Beanie Babies, of Pokemon cards that meant nothing and probably had no value, and I cared when my brother went and destroyed it. So
That's amazing.
yeah, super
these
funny.
are cool.
Really cool. All the
Articulating.
articulation.
Yep.
I think these are print in place as well, which means like you don't have to assemble them. They just come on one bed printed all together, which is super interesting. So
And
yeah.
they lay flat, they stand up.
They lay flat, they stand up, the wings move in and out. They're pretty darn cool.
Love it. What else is in the corner?
Oh, one of my all-time favorite, like just little fidgety things. This is NASA fabric. I always interpreted it to mean it's kind of similar to like the shell that they use on the space shuttle or something like that. That's like the ceramic tiles and stuff like that. But yeah, it's kind of like a chainmail mesh sort of thing. Another thing that's like print in place. It's very intricate, which makes it really neat. But yeah, crazy flexible for this like flat piece of plastic.
That's amazing.
Super interesting.
I love it.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for watching. This stuff is fun to us. We probably talked too long today. This probably should be a podcast.
Yeah, kind of is.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
It's kind of a visual. If I were watching this, I'd probably like put it on the side of my screen.
Yeah.
And like if I heard something that seemed interesting, I'd flip over.
Come
to
back to it.
it. I wish I had something interesting to show here at the end. We had lots of interesting things. Guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. We'll have another video coming out for you next week. In fact, next week, oh man, it's going to be a weird one.
Uh-oh.
It's not at the desk.
What's happening?
Can we sneak peek this?
Let's do it.
We're Can we sneak peek it?
Wow, this is for the people who stayed, huh?
This is for the people who stayed to the very
I
end.
like it. What are we looking at?
I've never designed a pen.
Oh.
This is the pen. I'm not going to give away all the tricks, but maybe just one.
That's not a one-trick pony.
It's a multiple trick pony.
Yes.
It's coming out next week. Thanks for watching, guys.
We'll see you then.
Take care.